everyone. This is Rajkumar D from Department of Information Technology, Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. I welcome you all once again for this lecture in the subject data visualization. In this topic, this lecture we are going to discuss about directory of visualizations. So here we are going to discuss about what are all the main categories where visualization can be used. So introduction, it provides a quick useful overview of the various plots and charts that are commonly used to visualize data. That is the meaning for directory of visualization. It means that it is meant both to serve as the table of the contents and as well as for a particular visualization whose name you may not know. So it acts as a source of inspiration and also it acts as the alternative which you are going to routinely make. The first one is the amount. The most common approach of using the visualizing amounts is going to be the numerical values shown with some set of categories, especially in the format of bars, which may be an horizontally arranged or else it may be an vertically arranged. You just imagine the graph you used to draw in a school graph note. So that is how it is displayed. However, instead of using bars, we can also use dots at the location where the corresponding bar would end by showing the representation of values. If there are two or more categories, if we want to show means we can use a stack of bars, so which can be used as X and Y category, and the amounts can be displayed by a varying colors or as an heat map. So next one is the distribution. For example, you can take a Poisson distribution or any type of distribution. So histograms and density plots provide the more intuitive visualization of the distribution, but it requires both arbitrary parameter choices, which can be often misleading. So we'll be using this box plots while in strips and strip charts, and sometimes we may use this Sina plots, which are very useful whenever we want to display visualize many distribution at once, or if we are going to shift among various distributions. Sometimes stack histograms or overlapping densities allow a more in-depth comparison of smaller number of distribution, though using a histogram may be very difficult to interpret. So in certain cases, this ridgeline plots can also be used as an alternative technique to visualize distributions. Next one comes proportions. Proportions means percentage or as a part value. So the proportion can be visualized as pie charts or as side by side bars or stacked bars. In case for amounts, normally bars can be used. So pie chart emphasizes the individual part up to a whole part and highlights some simple fractions. However, the individual pieces are more easily compared by side bars. So whenever we are using some proportions, it is always better to use an pie chart. So stacked bars look awkward whenever we are going to use a single set of proportions, but it can be useful whenever we are using a multiple set of proportions. When visualizing a multiple set of proportions or changes in proportions across conditions, pie chart is more space consuming, and often it going to end with an obscure relationships. So sometimes grouped bars, which works well along the large number of conditions, can also be used whenever we are using proportions. Next one is the XY relationships, especially in scatter plots, represents the archetypical visualization when we want to store one quantitative variable which is relative to one another. Like when it increases, this one also increases, or when it decreases, it is going to increase like proportional or inverse proportional. Okay, so whenever we are using three quantitative variables, we can map one onto one dot size and creating a variant of scatter plot called bubble chart. For a pair data, when variables are used along with the x-axis and y-axis, it is helpful to use in indicating a line where x points, where the y correspondingly is going to point. For large number of points, regular scatter plots can become ununiform due to overplotting. In such cases, contour lines or 2D bins or hex bins can be provided as an alternate whenever we are having the scatter plot with large number of points. Next one is the uncertainty. So uncertainty means we'll be using different values where the result is unknown. So whenever we are going to indicate an error bar, which is meant to indicate the range of likely values for some estimate or measurement, they extend horizontally or vertically for some reference point representing the estimate of measurement. So the reference point can also be shown in various ways, such as by dots or by bars. The graded bars can also show multiple ranges at the same time, where each range corresponds to this different degree of confidence. Always there are in effect multiple error bars with different line and thickness of plot on top of each other. So next issue with the uncertainty is to achieve a more detailed visualization than in a possible with an error bar and graded bars so that we can visualize the actual confidence or posterior distributions. So here the confidence strips provide a very clear visual sense of uncertainty, but it is very difficult to read it accurately. So eyes and half eyes combine error bars with approaches to visualize distributions. In certain cases, Y-lines, ridge lines, which are used respectively, and thus both precise ranges for some confidence levels, the overall uncertainty distribution. Sometimes the quality in dot plot can also serve as an visualization alternative for an uncertainty distribution. By showing the distribution in discrete units, the quantile dot plot is not a precise but it can easier read than the continuous distribution as shown by the y-line or the ridge lines, which is very accurate. For smooth line graphs, the equivalent of an error bar is always a confidence band. It shows the range of value in light might pass by a given confidence level, as in case of error bars. We can draw a graded confidence band that show multiple confidence level at once. So we can also use and show individual fitted draw in live or with the addition of confidence bands. With this, we come to this end of this session. I hope it is useful for you. Let us meet in the next session. Thank you.